The Fitness King. Shout out to the Fitness King. What's good, black man?
Peace.
Where you based at?
I'm based out of the Republic of Maryland right now.
Okay, you down in Maryland. Peace and love, black man. Go right ahead.
On the staffing business here. I have a very, very different type of question. And the reason why is because I sat in law school for 6.5 years, right? And upon research when I came back from overseas was when I just came back from Yemen possibly about 2 weeks ago. I noticed that it's a lot of controversy on the internet pertaining to your political status, your views, your, I don't want to say philosophy, but, you know, basically the way that you expound on your information. Now, my only slight question that may sound like an issue to those who don't really understand where I'm going is when we are talking about this black man, right? And I'm not going into the nationalistic argument or national, just simply dealing with status, law, and contract. You asking for donations to build a school. First question I ask those, have they ever even read the General Board of Education philosophy page dealing with schooling system, how they've been already documented since 1902. There will be no proper education. It's all been put in place to miseducate. This is part of the reason why I walked away from law school. How, and you being a man of this high stature of education, how is it possible legally and lawfully, and you know for a fact that that status as a black man has no way to start that type of venue? And I don't really want to go that deep into it, but you know where I'm going. And this is part of the reason why I walked away from this. I wasted all this money in these universities because I understood that the way that brand system they created, and I watched how they tried to play the mind game with you in that Pennsylvania courtroom, but I understood that they had no win legally or lawfully. But outside of that, calling ourselves or a flag that represent or represent us, or here neither. And when it comes to this legal stuff, I'm dealing with these courtroom issues every day, helping people get tickets, child support, all these cases dismissed based on who I am and what I know. No, I'm not a Mason. I'm not in secret societies. None of that. I'm private, self-taught at this point. It is no way possible for us to start institutions under that legal status black and get remedy. How? And this is not from this is law. And it's well documented. Well documented, brother. I sent several donations to support you. I did. But when I had to thoroughly go back and do my research, my only question is, before I knew anything about nationality, I knew law, I knew history because of my schooling for years. A black man has no standing and no business, no legal process, no nothing. How are you going to get this accomplished, brother?
Here's how I will respond.
Yes.
Very good point, by the way. Appreciate it.
And I'm no pun intended to you, and I'm going to still support you.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You know what I mean? The young Pharaohs, all them, I see it, but I know that they don't know certain things that we know because they don't really have the background and the teaching and the schooling. So I know.
I got you.
Right.
Let's start off by saying that my two chief elders in Philadelphia are Moors, both of them.
Okay.
With that being said, we do respectfully disagree on certain things.
Of course.
And I have tremendous respect for my brothers of that orientation.
Okay.
One of the ways or one of the issues over which we disagree is over European terminology and definitions.
What do you mean?
What I mean specifically is, although the white man defines black a certain way,
What do you mean pertaining? Not the what do you mean far as the etymology?
Let me respond.
Okay.
Although the white man has his definitions, I have a right to my own definitions, and I'm not limited to his definition. So, for example, when the Moorish brothers tell me that black means death and black means you have no status, that's what it's supposed to mean to the white man. He's my natural enemy. Black's supposed to mean death to him, just like his pink skin should mean death to me. See, for the Garveyite, it's not an issue of law because we don't plan to remain under the white man's law or his legal system. We plan to overthrow it. And because our focus is in overthrowing white supremacy, we're not interested in mastering how it operates, only to the extent that we can overthrow. So when someone says, I'm a Moorish American, I'm not looking to be an American at all. I'm looking to liberate myself from Americanism. So for me, I don't want to intellectually masturbate his concepts, his ideas, his definitions, because I don't plan to be under them forever. I plan to liberate myself. And I plan to liberate myself in such a way to bring about a new reality where I create my law, my definition, my protocol. You see, my procedures. I don't plan to be under him. And that's where we disagree, because whereas, and no one's wrong. No one's wrong. The Moors operate at the level of law. The Garveyites, we operate at the level of power.
Well,
it is a different approach.
Let's say this. We know that Noble Drew Ali originally was head of security for Marcus Garvey. We know that.
Not true.
Huh?
Not true.
Well, not based on what was documented.
Noble Drew Ali was never a member of the UNIAAC.
No, not a member. But he took his teachings from Marcus Garvey. That's a fact. Right? So, but see, here's my thing, and I don't want to hold too much of your time. And
it's okay. It's good conversation, brother.
I'm at my office as we speak.
Okay.
The truth for them, if you ever, return back to Maryland, reach out and we'll speak off the record, because I don't want to put out who I am, what I do.
And take my number. I'm gonna link with you. Take my number.
Okay.
You have it.
Hold on.
You got a pen?
Hold on.
Let me know when you're ready.
Hold on. I'm opening the phone up.
Okay.
Yeah. What is it?
215 989 9858.
Okay.
And let me share this with you.
Yeah.
Because the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, and I thank you for your donations, brother. I really do.
Yeah.
The Academy will also serve as international headquarters for Black consciousness, Moorish consciousness, however we want to define it. I'm saying that to say that I plan to put together a round table. A round table. I want every ideology represented. We can operate if we don't agree on every single thing. And I want my Moorish brothers there. I want my Hebrew brothers there. I want my Nawapian brothers there. I want the Black socialists there. I want the Gazaners. I want the Nation of Islam. I want the Rastafari. I want everybody represented at that round table, because it's about the oneness. There's one sun, many different rays. All of us represent a different ray of truth. And no one is right, no one is wrong. We all have a piece of it, and it's time to put it together. Unity.
Well, we have a differ on certain of those entities. I'll say groups.
Yes, sir.
Because we'll even be respectful and give them the term body politics.
Okay.
I don't want to really differ with you on camera of different views on that, because I just don't think that's intelligent look on the internet, right?
I got you.
Respectfully, you understand?
Yes, sir.
Certain debates and disagreements, I just feel like supposed to be private amongst men. That's kingmanship, right?
Yes, sir.
But when we public, we unify at all times, because we understand that the op is always watching.
Yes.
Especially when National Security Administration, along with CIA, National Cocaine International Industry, created this thing called a spider web. And I'm not going to get into the documental proof on that, but you guys can do research, right?
Yes, sir.
So with that being understood, I'll say this. When it comes to some of those institutions, I can't work with. Why? Because
you can't say that though, brother, because that's what keeps us divided.
No. Listen. It's factual and it's documented that some of these entities are responsible and played part in certain assassinations and murders, not only to the great Malcolm X, or properly termed him as Ali Shabazz, right? Multiple. When you go into the congressional records, when you see, this is something that we keep ignoring as a nation.
I agree with you, but let me throw this at you real quick. You very well may be right on that. But here's the question.
Okay.
Is it fair?
Okay.
To members of those various nations, is it fair to members of those nations who played no part in some of those operations, who are true to the teaching?
But ignorance of your affiliation is still no excuse. And what I mean by that is, my grandmother used to say to me years ago, if you hang around shit, even if you ain't shit it, you still gonna smell like it. So with that being understood, I'm a man of study. Either I know or I don't. I don't just read a book, like, for example, I don't just go into the Webster Dictionary or Etymology Dictionary or Black's Law Dictionary or whoever dictionary or whoever book, your book, whoever book. I understand how writers know how to create and lead one, where they want certain minds and understandings to go. So in order enough for me to understand and understand anything, a lot of times I remove any bias or any opinions or emotions out of it, and I deal with being rational. And if anything that I discover contradicts or proves whatever I believe or whatever I thought was wrong or right, I get rid of it immediately. Not know, it take time. Smoking causes cancer. I didn't know. That's gone tomorrow.
But what about the fact that there's members of those nations, right, who can benefit from your wisdom? By saying I won't associate, you're rejecting yourself from a whole segment of the family that may need the knowledge that you have.
Listen, I have family members that are from the West Coast, right? I've been around the Gladiators, the UX organization, the Panthers. You know, I was in LA in '92 when Rodney King experienced that beat, and my dad is from East LA. So I've been around these political mind frames and conscious mind frames all my life. Once again, I just sat in Yemen, right? I sat at the foot of different scholars, right? I can't sit here, and I'm not going to go into certain discussions. Like I said, I just feel like that's more of a private discussion on camera for me and you. Just certain things, like how young Pharaoh came at you, like how I will never speak ill against the nation or whoever, because I understand that that's not how you remedy any situation, right? But what I do understand is this: either I know or I don't. And when something is exceedingly clear, I don't fight with it. Speaking on when you mentioned the more science thing, the fact of the matter is there is proof all around the globe since I've traveled that that's pretty much part of who we are. And there's no denying that. Here, Mexico, etc. For a long time, I objected to that. I didn't want to understand that. I've been in Germantown many times at the masjid, the mosque. I wasn't trying to hear it. But then when I said, okay, wait a minute. Let me stop being so caught up into my shenanigans, because I can be, right? Because I accumulated so much in so little time. And as I began to expand my study and my research, I said, okay, the next time the brother Dr. Umar Johnson come to any one of the local interstates, whether it's Philly, New York, I'm going to go, and I just want to, I want to know, do he really know? What's his agenda? Because when I'm looking at the congressional records of the COINTELPRO documentations from the J. Hoover Act, most people don't even know Martin Luther King was a 32 Master Mason. He told us in Washington, D.C. that he'd been to the mountaintop. That's masonry all day. But they know that our people don't understand symbology. They know that they disconnected us from language. Right. Even though masonry is not negative, because it's our history. We taught it to them. It's called the Renaissance. So when we deny certain definitions that the European put in their books of philosophy or history, or however you want to rephrase it, right? Let's be clear. We taught that science to them.
Right. But I want you to bring that back, though, to you not being able to sit at the table with your brothers and sisters over a difference of ideology. That's the only difference we got.
When it comes to educating the children, first thing first, let's be clear. It starts with the community. I don't blame the mother or the father first. Understand, right? We may have different views on that. I understand that our people don't live in communities. We live in neighborhoods. First thing first, right? We live in zoned communities, right? So when there's no infrastructure or no community to help support, like for example, statistics shows that 85% of, so I'll use these terms because some women may not refer to that. 75, maybe 85% of most black women are single parent, right? Do we not understand how detrimental that is just to the mind, the subconscious of the Asiatic man or woman who is a boy growing up in one household under one feminine principle, especially if it's more detrimental to the young boys, because all their life they see. I don't want to be facetious, but I'll say this: pseudo, meaning they see mom decorating eyelashes, painting on her face, painting on her hair, right? Not understanding that the number one informational way to receive consciousness is through the hair, right? But when they suppress these roots, and the European tell them that the sun is dangerous to them, right? Not understanding that sun is information, is knowledge, is power. This is African history. It's called Kimi. It derived from a word called Kimi. But they call it chemistry, study of us.
Yes.
Right? So I understand these things now. So it's kind of hard for me to sit at the table with certain people who blatantly and deliberately know this stuff. And I know for a fact that they know this stuff because I know people who's close to them. I know brothers in the temple. I know brothers in in certain parts of Most High. I know brothers that study Islam, meaning the Sunnah Muhammad. I know these people.
My apology to the young brother. I guess my Instagram had reached the 1 hour maximum. I think my Instagram had reached the 1 hour maximum and it automatically cut us off. So my apologies to the young brother. Please get in contact with me, young brother. Again, I did not cut you off. My Instagram timed out. So my apologies on that. But let's communicate. Brother is very intelligent. We need him at the table. But here's what I want to say. No matter how intelligent we are, no matter how much information we have, at the end of the day, if you're saying you cannot sit down and reason with your brother and sister because they are of a different ideology, religion, or political perspective, then all the knowledge in the world that you have collected has now just become an agent of white supremacy and an enemy to black people. We have to unite. It is about oneness. Hebrew, Moor, Nuwapian, God and Earth, Nation of Islam, Garveyite, Socialist, Pan-Africanist, Integrationist. We have to unite as one people. Oneness. African family first. African family first. AFF. Hashtag AFF. African family first and foremost before anything else. Let's see who we got.